Harvey.
A weird movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I say that as if some of the other movies we watched for this episode aren't very, very weird.
Mm-hmm.
This one this movie confused the hell out of me.
I think it's a fun time.
Not in terms of like what happens, but just in terms of like what am I?
What's going on here?
What's going on here? Yeah.
You want to sum it up?
This was, I think, the one movie that we watched for this episode that I had never seen before. Like in
I've seen it twice before.
In pieces or anything. Like I went to this. I knew the concept, which is Jimmy Stewart is a small town guy who is best friends with an invisible 6'3.5" talking rabbit, anthropomorphic rabbit that only he can see, seemingly, and everyone else in town is like thinks he's a kook, but he's just really pleasant. He's just sort of like he's
so nice,
right? He's just so super nice, but everyone is like, this is a problem. His sister and niece are like trying to get him committed. Psychiatrists are kind of trying to like figure out what's going on with him. I guess, would you call this it's framed as a comedy.
Yeah, it's got like a lot of screwball elements to it.
It does, which I actually feel like maybe is part of my problems with it. But
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
walking a fine line.
It's just it's not weird in like the things that happen, but it's weird, I guess, in just its tone. I feel like its tone is a little maybe off. But yeah, it's the Jimmy Stewart Invisible Rabbit movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think?
I mean, I quite like this movie. I do understand what you're talking about with like the tonal issues, and I think that like
I went into this movie hot too. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to finally watch Harvey. Like this is, another sort of very well known.
I think it's always just like worked for me. I mean, I think like, the tonal issues come from like the kind of seriousness and sadness of like certain elements of it.
So I mean, one thing about this is
mixed with like it not really treating them very seriously, I think.
Yeah, the Jimmy Stewart character is not really the like audience POV character. Elwood is his name, and it's
Elwood P. Dow.
Yeah,
take my business card.
Oh yeah, my business card right here.
Don't use that number. That's the old number. Use this number.
We're mostly seeing this guy through the perspective of the people around him, like his sister, the doctors. It's mostly other characters interacting with him.
Crucially, you don't see the rabbit.
Yes.
Through the whole story, it's kind of unclear how crazy he is,
I would say through most of the story, the movie is, through the language of the movie is positing that, yes, he is delusional. There is no rabbit.
But, like, it's always like they're, like, you almost, like, want to believe that he's right,
Sure, yeah.
And then the movie, it had a really big choice to make about whether or not it confirms that he is, it is real. And it turns out that the rabbit is real.
Yeah.
It's a puka.
Or at least, according to, like, the language of the movie.
Well, no, there's, like, doors that open. Like,
sure,
like
that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, the door's opening, but, like, we never see the rabbit. Right, it's never like 100% like boom.
We see
the rabbit is here. He's speaking to another character.
He does speak to another character,
but
another character who might have gone crazy also.
Right, there's
like the movie.
There's just enough ambiguity in there that you could still.
Well, the movie confirms that the rabbit is real because it doesn't show the rabbit, but it shows the effects of an invisible thing that is interacting with the physical world.
Yeah.
And that is the confirmation that the movie gives you. And it like vindicates Elwood a whole lot in this movie.
Certainly.
That like, there's, even though he's seeing a real invisible rabbit, there is still something a little kooky about him in that he doesn't recognize that everyone thinks that he's out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's just like, have you met my friend?
He never acknowledges that no one else can see Harvey.
Yeah.
The titular rabbit.
But he like always speaks for the rabbit. He's like, he says this,
Right. Yeah.
Which like, it seems like there's a bit of a delusion going on even while he's talking to a real rabbit.
Harvey may be an actual rabbit spirit, and Elwood might also be a little kooky.
The relationship that this movie has to I don't know, the psychology industry, I think is an interesting thing. Like there are
It is interesting.
like that's along the lines of the tonal stuff, because like there are elements of this movie that if they were played differently and maybe played in a way that's a bit more honest, like they would almost be like horrific, you know?
Yeah.
It is like people getting put in institutions against their will, or like the people who run asylums being really cruel and uncaring and rough to the people who they're trying to help, quote unquote, you know? The doctors are not sympathetic.
Dude, the doctors in this movie are insanely terrible at their jobs. Like, beyond the fact that this movie is kind of supposed to be like a wacky comedy in places, the ineptitude of the medical professionals in this movie is crazy.
But not just ineptitude, but like evil, basically. You know, it is only through, you know, we're not looking at it through Elwood's eyes, but we are with Elwood, who is this really like just kind, happy-go-lucky person who, like, even in bad situations, he's just like, I'm happy wherever I am, you know? Like, if my sister feels better about living, like, is embarrassed of me being around, and so she wants to have me committed, I guess that's okay, you know? Like, you know, I'm happy, you know? And so we're able to see these, like, kind of villainous doctors through his eyes, where he's just like, you two are in love, aren't you? Shouldn't you two get together, even though you're so mean to this other person? You know?
But I think that's sort of part of my problem with this movie, is that it's like, it's kind of like everything works out in the end, and I'm like, the psychiatrist and the nurse do kind of end up together, and I'm like, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's a bad couple.
Yeah.
You know, like the sister does sort of have a change of heart by the end of the movie, but is so, what I thought, cruel to her brother throughout most of the movie.
She is. And I think it's only
but in a way that the movie doesn't almost seem to recognize.
I mean, I think that it may be, the movie is making a choice to like force all of this to be funny, right?
Yeah.
It's stuff that like,
and it's not working for me.
I think it works. I think it works. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable at points, but I think that it's funny and light enough with these dark subjects that I think it's able to just like let you kind of put aside their darkness to enjoy the comedy. But I can kind of understand why.
Right, it's because it's like a movie I thought about while watching this one was Arsenic Old Lace.
Yeah,
definitively my favorite movie of the 1940s, according to the last episode. And that movie deals with a delusional character, Teddy, who believes he's Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah,
and everyone's just kind of fine with it, and everyone's just like, call him Teddy. Like, even the criminals are like very quick to like, they start calling the basement Panama. And that movie, I think, is incredibly dark. Like, the subject matter of that movie is like murder, mental delusion, poisoning, torture, corpses. And yet that movie is so funny and so light on its feet and silly. And I feel like this movie just doesn't thread that needle of like being funny but also having dark subject matter.
I think that like it is just funny enough for me to put the dark subject to like not have the dark subject matter taint it for me. But yeah, I think it totally makes sense that it would for many people.
I mean, right. I wonder if, had Frank Capra directed this movie, if it would have been the same movie but better. Like, this feels like it is.
It has Capra.
It is going for a Capra-esque tone,
especially with like the kind of earnestness of Jimmy Stewart's character.
Right. And the sort of the way the movie ends with like, he's not hurting anybody. Just let him go on just being nice and going to the bar and like buying people drinks. Yeah, I struggled with this one, which I was surprised by. I thought I would be really on board with it because I'm like, it's the Jimmy Stewart Invisible Rabbit movie. Mm-hmm. The casualness with which all the doctors call their patients psychos. Oh yeah, I gotta go to work and deal with all those psychos. It's like, you are a mental health professional, sir. And some of that is the fact this movie is from 1950, that it's just like the general sort of understanding and approach to mental health was not the same as it is now. It was much more cruel.
But also, I think the movie is like very have fun with them being cruel, because I don't think the movie ever really thinks that doctor is a good person, you know? No,
but it never lets him off the hook, though. It does let him off the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he treats the nurse so terribly. There's a moment where he like tries to get her to like seduce Elwood. He's like, use your feminine wiles or whatever. And it's like, you are her boss, sir. Which again, like, it's the 50s. You know, I get that things were worse back then.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that kind of thing that is like being played for laughs, where I was just like, this just feels gross. The orderly who is like constantly manhandling people, which again is like,
he's so aggressive. He grabs his blackjack with like,
right, he grabs a
like,
blackjack,
no hesitation.
which like, right, the movie is both acknowledging that like this guy he shouldn't be doing that. This is bad.
Yeah,
but also is sort of like, isn't he a scamp?
Yeah,
there's like just a shocking, maybe not shocking, but an uncomfortable amount of like sexual harassment in this movie.
Yeah, but like, yes, there's a lot of bad stuff in this movie, but also there's a lot of fun in it too. Yeah. Like, it is watching Jimmy Stewart in this role. He's very charming.
He is very good. Like that, like, no complaints.
And like he's playing this kind of like lovable dope that like really is just like, hey everybody, like, this is my best friend. Yeah, he's a rabbit.
He's like,
you'll love him.
Aggressively wholesome.
Yeah,
and he also, the way he like talks, like he kind of knows something that no one else knows a little bit.
Because he's like, I am like, not even in like a kind of egotistical way. He's just like, I'm on another level than everybody else because I have my best friend. Yeah. You know?
He's achieved enlightenment by being friends with Harvey.
Yeah, he's just like I am so happy and so peaceful, and I'm willing to look past all of these people being cruel to me because I love my best friend so much.
It is physically impossible to piss this guy off. He will take everything in the best possible way.
And it's nice. It's nice to watch him do that. Yeah. And I feel like that is sort of what is able to get me over the hump of the uncomfortable stuff in the movie.
Right, because he has a line towards the end where it's like, you can either be clever or pleasant or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I decided to just be pleasant.
Yeah. And like, that is really him just kind of summing up his perspective, you know? Yeah.
It does kind of make me wonder if there's a read of this movie of like, oh, this guy discovered like psychedelics and is now just nice all the time. Like, maybe Elwood is just stoned all the time.
Interesting.
And then that's, you know, now he's just pleasant to be around.
I mean, I think another kind of alternative read of this movie
actually
is that
he's drunk all the time, which is
sort of an implication.
Yes, that is like a direct implication that this movie makes, I think.
I think that another kind of maybe subtextual kind of thing going on is the thing that he has to hide from everybody. His male friend that he loves so much, you know, him needing, like, people wanting to commit him to an institution for it.
Being embarrassed to have him at their tea party.
Yes.
For old rich ladies.
There's a point in the movie where his sister says he never married. He lived with his mother his whole life, you know?
Yeah.
I wrote this down. I think it was Elwood that said that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This was the there's just other gay stuff in this movie, which is where when the doctor is convincing the nurse to seduce Elwood, he says, "Give him the eyes, the swish, the works. I'm immune to it, but there must be someone here it works on." You know? It's like
that's the guy that the like girl is supposed to end up with at the end of the movie. Like that guy sucks.
Yeah, but like,
and clearly has like contempt for her.
But I think that like the gay reading of this movie is like an interesting reading. You know?
I think that makes the movie more interesting. I think like reading it as a movie about a gay man that everyone has a problem with.
He's happy.
And then everyone else kind of learns that it's like, he's fine. Everyone else is just mad at him for no reason.
Exactly. There are some people who accept him, even though he's not like the way that everybody, you know, ought to be, quote unquote. And there are some people who just can't get over something that they don't really have any good reason for having a problem with it, you know?
Because I think like I do think that makes it a better movie. One, because viewing the movie purely as metaphor gets rid of a lot of the kind of just clunky kind of storytelling bits of like, oh, they don't want him like hanging around while they're having their fancy dinner parties.
Yeah.
And it's like, You just tell them like, hey, this is my brother Elwood. He's a little kooky. He thinks he's friends with a rabbit. Just go with it.
Yeah, his family's ashamed of him.
Yeah, they're like, he can't be in the house.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be seen with him.
Yeah, and like, they're ruining our social status.
Yeah.
He's ruining our social status
by just
existing.
We need to put him in, we need to, commit him so that we can have our dinner parties still. Which is, it's just like the casual cruelness, I guess, of this movie is kind of what... But also, especially in the 50s, like, a lot of casual cruelty towards gay people.
Exactly.
So, I do think, that does kind of make the movie better.
Yeah. But, like, also, there are still issues with it. It's kind of too long, and it's kind of repetitive. Like, there's just, like, there's a lot of...
Kind of similar to Cinderella, it feels like they had this much movie and they were like, this isn't enough. We gotta come up with some other stuff to put in
Which
here.
Which is weird because like they could have just trimmed it down. Like it's an hour and 50 minutes. Like they could have cut 20 minutes out of this movie and it would have been much leaner and much better, I think. I mean, I know it's kind of a recurring bit, but like there are so many times where he's just introducing himself to people over and over again. It's to show what a nice guy he is, right? Every single random person that he encounters and like I think another kind of notable thing about him is that he's from a rich family and his sister and niece like want to kind of keep that status of richness, and they're like, he keeps inviting like drifters and random people from bars over, and like he has no care for social status, right?
Literally every single character he meets, he's like, come have a drink with me.
He's just like, I want to be your wow, what's your life like? I want to be your friend. Do you want to come over for dinner? And they're just like,
no.
Sure. They're like he's like, do you want to come over for dinner? And they're being polite, and they're like, oh yeah, like maybe, sure. And he's just like, when?
Right.
Like, which I will say, you're coming over to have dinner.
Like, I do think when people make social plans, that is a good instinct to have, because I feel like there's it's like, oh, like we'll get dinner sometime. Then it's like never happens.
Yeah.
Elwood knows. He's like, no, when? Like, let's pick a day now.
He's just like, everyone I meet is going to be my friend, but none of them are going to be as good of a friend as Harvey, my 6'3.5" rabbit friend.
Which I like the thing of he's 6'3.5" because he's constantly looking up at Harvey, and Jimmy Stewart is 6'3", so he has to be at least that much taller.
I didn't realize that. I guess maybe then you're not counting the ears, because then he'd be looking at the ears.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do the ears count? They can't. Yeah.
There's a point in the movie where you see a painting.
Right. Yeah, that's the closest we get. Is there's he gets a portrait made of him and Harvey.
It's lovely. It's just a little cuddly Bugs Bunny looking guy.
Yeah.
that he got his arm around him, and he has this I don't know. There's this like painting of their grandmother or something like that. Some kind of family institution of their richness, and he like brings it into the house. And he's just like, nah. And he just puts his picture of him and his rabbit.
Much better. Good choice. Yeah. Right. He mentions Harvey being a puka, which is explained in the movie by the orderly reading from like the encyclopedia.
And he's got a good like old time, like, hey, a puka.
Yeah.
Reading a puka, like a puka's a spirit from that can appear in different forms.
Yeah, a puka is according to Wikipedia anyway, is primarily from, I think, Celtic folklore. Although there's a lot of crossover with other folklore, and is a shape-shifting, sort of mischievous spirit that often appears as lots of different animals, including a rabbit. But the way that it is described in Wikipedia is it's sort of like, it's not really that far off from like a puck or a goblin. It's right. It's like a mischievous spirit that will, sometimes it'll help you and sometimes it'll mess with you. And I don't know, that is like a weird thing to like drop into this movie, that it is like, Harvey isn't just a thing that exists in this guy's head. Like,
he's like a specific ethnic creature.
Right. Harvey is an established like folkloric entity.
It's interesting too that it's like kind of like it's not like one of the big name ones,
Right, but like, it's not that far off from saying that like Harvey is a demon.
Right.
Like that's not even a bad read of this movie.
Imp. Let's call him an imp.
But that's, I mean, like even like, demon in like Christian theology has like a very negative context, whereas I think a lot of like pagan or non-Christian religions have mischievous spirits and things where it's like, yeah, this is part of life, man. They're around. They'll throw you in a lake.
But yeah, Harvey's never really cruel to anyone.
No, but by all means, Harvey does seem like only has the best intentions.
Yeah, but Harvey, there's a point where the kind of guy in charge of the mental institution has a similar break with reality and is able to start seeing Harvey. And like Harvey's nice enough to him, and he's like, but then he asks Harvey to like use his powers to what is it?
Almost like visit
himself in the past or something.
Yeah.
Right. But then like, Elwood kind of leaves the two of them to hang out with each other, and then Harvey leaves and apparently tells Elwood like, nah, like it's you and me.
Yeah. And ditch this guy. I see why this movie made an impact, certainly, because it is very strange and there's not really a whole lot else like it. But yeah, its tonal weirdness didn't work for me.